You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. Hello there, Slow Down Society. Steph here, and we are on episode 146 of the Slow Living Podcast. And today we're going to talk about being married for a long time, I guess, is maybe this will be the secrets to a long marriage or my thoughts on being married for 25 years, because that is what we're looking at. Adam and I have been married now for 25 years. Together for 31. We met in high school. That is not normal. We are constantly telling our kids that it is not normal to marry the first person you date. But that is what happened in our family and with me and Adam. And because of that, I may not be the best person to dole out relationship advice because I don't know what it's like to go through breakups. I don't know what it's like to date a lot of people. I don't know what it's like to be divorced and then kind of restart your life again and look for a life partner. All I know is that I am not the same person that I was at 16, and Adam most definitely is not the same person he was at 16. But we've been together for 31 years and married for 25. We've raised 3 kids. They are currently 22, 19, and 14. They're great kids. And so I started thinking about, okay, so lots of people do these kind of like list things, and the internet calls them listicles of 20 things this or 10 things that. So I started thinking, do I have 25 success secrets for being married for a long time? And so I did some pondering on a run this morning, and I jotted down some notes. And then I fed it into ChatGPT, my notes, and then ChatGPT helped me formalize a list of 25 things. So I'm going to share it with you. I will tell you that when we went to premarital counseling. So the church we got married in offered premarital counseling. And I think it was maybe we met with the pastor 3 times, 4 times, but she had homework and she had a list of questions for us to go through together. And I think that was really helpful. And so if you haven't done that, or if you're looking to get married, or if you're thinking right now, maybe the communication is a little off, I would look up maybe some premarital questions and kind of re-decide on purpose to commit to bettering your communication style with you and your spouse. Because I do think that was important. We decided on purpose at a young age that we wanted we wanted an A in our marriage, and we wanted gold stars. And so we did both have that mindset. When we first got engaged, I was working at a vet hospital. I thought for a while after working at the San Francisco Zoo, I wanted to be a vet. And so I started working in a vet hospital. And I remember being in the back in the lunchroom, and I was newly engaged and I was wearing my diamond ring. And the female vet who owned the vet practice, there was a male and a female, and the female one, she was sitting with me and she said, "So I hear you're engaged." I said, "Yes." And she said, "So my husband and I have been married for 20 years. And I said, "Oh." And I said, "Well, do you have any secrets to share?" And she said, "Well, how long do you plan on being married?" And I said, "Forever." And she said, "Okay, that's a good place to start is planning to be married forever. So go in with that mindset. And her husband's name was Chris. She says, but I want you to know that Chris could leave me at any time and I would be okay. And I remember thinking that was weird advice to give to me. And I remember thinking, well, that's weird because Adam will never leave me. And so I don't need to plan on that. But I've pondered her words quite a few times over these past 25 years of being married. And the fact is that's true. You have to be strong as your own person and not uh, assume someone else is going to be responsible one to take care of you always. I mean, it's different if you're sick or something like that, and you need that, but you do have to be a full-fledged human and have your own stuff in check as much as possible before bringing another person in. Adam and I were lucky in that we grew together and we figured out our own version of the peace pyramid together. Because again, we certainly are not the same people as we used to be 25 years ago, and we've grown and evolved. But I do know, God forbid, if Adam got hit by a bus, it would be okay. And so I do want you to think about that for yourself. You don't want to create a codependent relationship where you would not be okay. You would not be strong. You would not be stable. You would not be secure unless you were being propped up by another person. So pay attention to that. Okay. So 25 years of marriage. Do I have thoughts on that? I do. Um, I have a lot of thoughts. One thing is that I was lucky enough to marry my best friend, and we were best friends first before we even started dating. And I think that is pretty cool. And so I'll go through this list, and I want you to know that this is just something that I thought of. I've not studied this. I'm not an expert in this in any which way. I've met with many, many women over the years, and I do believe that there is a no one size fits all answer to a perfect marriage in any shape or form. I have met people who have been in abusive relationships. I have met people who have been cheated on. I've worked with people who think they're going to get a divorce and then they don't get a divorce and they come back. I have no preconceived notions whatsoever that there are rules and these are the rules that you have to stick to. That said, I do love reading self-help and personal development books. So I've read a lot. I've read the 5 love languages. I've read Men Are from Mars, Women Are for Venus. I've actually read the book called The Rules about like secrets to dating and things like that. Whatever is kind of new and out there at the library, I snatch it up, read it, skim it. Often I skim it and get kind of the gist. And if it's something that I'm interested in, I go back and do a little bit more research. But I like to kind of be quote unquote up on what's out there, and it helps me in my own life and then also with coaching clients. Okay, so what are the 25 things that I have come up with? So number one is definitely best friends first. We've always prioritized our friendship, and we've just kind of, because of that, ensured a strong foundation for our marriage. 2, effective communication. Communication is not a thing or an important thing. It is the thing. So I really think that communication is actually everything. And we try our hardest to model proper communication. And then if we find that we're not, we do kind of a control alt delete reset and get back on track. 3, commitment to growth. We both are striving to be the best versions of ourselves. And because of that, we can kind of course correct when things seem a little off. And that also helps enhance our relationship because we have stuff to talk about. 4, shared vision. So number 2, if you are living a slow life, number 1 is declutter all that's not working. And number 2 is programming your GPS. Adam and I have a pretty solid GPS in that we have a shared vision of where we're going with our marriage, where we're going with our life, how we're going to parent, what our retirement years look like. And we talk about it pretty gosh darn often. 5, shared experiences. Because we've been together for so long, our numerous shared experiences, they've kind of created this deep bond and countless memories that if there's a time where there's lulls in the conversation or we're realizing that we haven't like talked and connected, or if we're quiet at dinner and not talking, it's really easy to kind of go into the vault of our shared memories and spark up conversation that way. Parenting together. 6, raising our 3 kids. Oh my goodness, it has most def taught us teamwork, patience, and then unconditional love. We also do have kind of this unspoken rule, although I say unspoken, we actually speak about it quite a bit because if we go off kilter, we'll bring it up later with each other. We try not to criticize each other's parenting ever in front of the children, and we try not to disagree with parenting decisions in front of the kids. We try our hardest to be a united front. We've been, so our oldest is 22. We have made mistakes. We are not perfect humans. We are just humaning around. But if something happens that I don't agree with, I or he will course correct and pull each other aside and be like, so I see what you did there. Let's let it go this time, but actually next time, let's do it this way, that kind of thing. 7, quality time. We do enjoy spending time together. And we try to schedule that in. We happen to be married on a 17, so July 17th. So we honor the 17th of every month or a date close to it and try and schedule in a date night. Lately, we've also been trying to schedule in 24-hour getaways 2 or 3 times a year where we leave the kids because they're totally old enough now to be left and go away just for ourselves for 24 hours. 8, individual interests. We respect each other's need for personal space and hobbies, and don't infringe upon that, and don't blame or shame someone for needing some alone time or needing some time to do their own thing, have their own friends, have their own interests and hobbies. 9, equal partnership. We try really hard to stay equal. And it was really interesting for the 12 years that I was home. Many moms come to me and they feel as if they are a stay-at-home mom, they are not in an equal partnership because they are not making money or that way. I don't believe in that. I believe marriage is a partnership, and large decisions get made together. And that's something that we've always tried to honor in our relationship. 10, financial harmony. So being on the same page with finances and investing, it's prevented a whole bunch of conflict and ensured stability in our long-term partnership. And so think about that. If you don't know what's going on with your finances, that's something to pay attention to. Again, back in the beginning, when that vet doctor told me that if her husband left, it would be okay. I want that to be okay for everyone. Even if you're not the breadwinner, even if you're a stay-at-home mom right now or stay-at-home spouse and you are not bringing in money, if you are married, you are in the most important business partnership of them all, and you do need to know what's going on. There's absolutely financial infidelity and financial abuse of power. So if you think you're in a situation where you don't know enough of what's going on, pay attention to that because it's kind of something that's a flag. Uh, an organized life, 11. So we share a Google Calendar and it helps us stay organized and it manages our time effectively and efficiently. I love sending calendar invites to Adam and vice versa. We put things on the calendar, we know what's going on. If I have a coaching call that happens to be early in the morning and I'm locked in the office, it's easy for other people in the family, so the kids and Adam included, to look and be like, oh, okay, mom's locked in, but she's done at 9:15. Things like that. So we do share that with each other. Hey there. Are you looking for an easier way to meet your goals without sacrificing your ethics or morals? If so, you're going to want to check out the new masterclass I recorded on how to achieve more by learning how to slow down. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but I promise you that this is a proven system that works. If you're ready to finally meet your personal and professional goals without sacrificing yourself or your sanity, check out this new recording at stephanieodea.com/masterclass. Okay, back to this week's episode. 12, we also share location sharing. I share it with Adam, share it with the kids, actually share it with my parents and vice versa. It's just not a thing. We want to know that each other are all safe and sound. So if you are in a situation where your significant other refuses to share location, um, just pay attention to that and poke at it and ask some questions and wonder why. You're not stalking, you're not checking up on them. You just want to know that they're safe. And so just pay attention to that. Or an open book with that kind of stuff. 13, consult each other. We run almost all decisions by each other and we value each other's opinions and perspectives. And a lot of this is because we are each other's best friends. So if I have an important decision coming up at work or vice versa, we do kind of run things by each other. 14, purchase agreements. So we have a rule, and we started this when we first got married, that any purchase over $100, we discuss with each other. We actually are in a funny situation right now that we kind of discuss any purchase with each other. If I'm going to buy something on Amazon or vice versa, we usually say, "Hey, I'm going to buy this on Amazon," and sometimes even saying the words out loud, "Hey, I'm going to buy this." I realize, I don't really need this $25 whatever it is thing on Amazon. But that's just always sort of helped us stay within our budgeting and things. That said, we don't begrudge each other. It's just not an issue. We're far enough along in our financial trajectory that I could care less about most purchases and vice versa. But when we were newlyweds and we were on a strict budget, we began running pretty much all purchases by each other. 15, trust and respect. So this is a big one. I always assume that Adam is doing the right thing and vice versa. And I just literally don't question it. He makes great decisions, and that's just my default. Whatever he does, I assume is always just fine. 16, mutual support. So supporting each other's dreams and ambitions, it's been crucial in our relationship, and it's something to pay attention to in yours. If you are living with a dream squasher, it's not fun. I also kind of call it bubble popping. If you have a really big, juicy idea and it's fun and you're excited about it and you're blowing bubbles and chewing on it, and someone comes and just pops it every single time, that's not fun to be around. So pay attention. I want you to have your dreams and ambitions supported, and then I want you also to do that with your significant other. 17, conflicts. So conflicts really do happen. Anyone who says that they never bicker and fight and have conflicts and they've been married for a long time are either sweeping things under the rug, or maybe they're not being honest, or they're kind of glossing over things in a fancy Instagrammy way. We've definitely had our fair share of fights, and yet we've made it through. And we always sort of have the idea that even when we're butting heads or things aren't going well, that we will make it through and it's fine. It just is what it is. 18, celebrating milestones. So it's kind of a big deal. And when someone has a win, it's not taking away from someone else. So I had recorded a podcast episode on zero sum theory. Someone else's win is their win, and it's not detracting from you. And so really pay attention to that. You are not in competition with your spouse. And if someone is on a really big, like, winning streak at work or doing really well, be unconditionally proud of them, and don't make it seem like it's detracting from you in any way. 19, shared responsibilities. So I do the daily 7, which are the daily chores for a highly successful household. I've written about it. These are the family's chores, not just my chores. And so we share in those responsibilities. It's interesting, and we were just joking about it the other day. We definitely have kind of gender divide chores. Adam definitely maintains the cars, and I do not. I could if I wanted to, but I also sort of have a little bit of princess syndrome in that I don't want my hands to smell like gas. And so if he wants to go put gas in my car, I'm okay with that. If he wants to schedule the oil change, I'm okay with that. I schedule the kids' doctor and dentist appointments and maintain the house more. And I personally care more than he does about, like, toilet cleanliness. He at one point joked that toilets are self-cleaning. So we do have some gender divide in that. It works well for us. That said, if I need help or vice versa, I'm happy to take the garbage out to the street. Like it's not an issue. So in general, these are the family's chores. These are the household chores. And it's not mine, his, the kids. We all sort of work together. 20, spontaneity and fun. So you have to put a little sprinkle and a little sparkle and a little glitter in your life. That there has to be some fun, and planning spontaneity doesn't sound all that fun. It sort of sounds a little control freaky-ish, but putting a date night on the calendar, or scheduling in a 2-hour lunch date, which you're really only going to be in a restaurant for 45 minutes, but if it's on the calendar for 2 hours, means that maybe after dinner you're walking downtown and you're picking up ice cream. There has to be something to look forward to in marriage, in life, in parenting. Otherwise, you're kind of living this Groundhog Day, and it just feels like drudgery. And so, yes, plan for spontaneity, plan for sparkle and creativity and fun. 21, expressing gratitude. I am so thankful that I'm living the life that I'm living, and that I get to raise these kids with my best friend. And I'm constantly thanking Adam for things and vice versa. If we go out to dinner, I thank him for dinner. If I cook dinner, he thanks me for making dinner. If he takes the garbage out, even though it's Monday night and someone's gonna have to, I thank him and vice versa. He thanks me for folding the laundry. We really do express gratitude for each other. And I'm not saying that is something that everyone needs to do or has to do. It happens to be number 21 on my list of something that we really do try to do. 22, learning together. So I am a lifelong learner, and I am lucky in that Adam is also. It's not fun to stop learning things when you get out of school or when you hit 30 or 35 or 40. Um, if we're lucky, life is long and you're not dead yet. So continuously learn new things. Adam right now is learning Celtic through the Duolingo app. I am going through a yoga certification. We're always interested about learning about new things. And just pay attention to that. You absolutely can teach an old dog new tricks, and it's fun, and it gives you new things to talk about and to share. And they don't need to be the same thing. You can learn something, and your significant other can learn something. If you want to learn something together, like pickleball or some sort of sport, great. But just pay attention to that. 23, maintaining romance is a real thing. I had recorded a podcast episode with Amy on intimacy and connection in marriage and long term. That's important. So pay attention to that. 24, flexibility and being adaptable. So in yoga, we talk a lot about being flexible, and you can't have one vision because maybe your body isn't into it that day. And so being flexible and not rigid with what your ideas are is pretty important for a long-term relationship. You can't have an idea that it's going to be this way and this way only, because life happens. Illness happens. Icky stuff that you can't expect happens. And so you do have to be flexible and sort of embrace change. So the acronym I like to use for PACE is peaceful acceptance of changing events. As you age, you might not be able to do all of the things that you used to do, and your spouse might not be able to do all of the things that they used to be able to do. Cognitive decline happens. Physical ailments and different things happen. So please don't be rigid in your idea that something like, well, we always go skiing every December, and this year, like, we can't because so-and-so's knee is out. Be flexible, figure it out. And then 25, the last one, and is this unwavering commitment to maintain being married. I like being married. Thankfully, so far, Adam likes being married. Every anniversary, we talk about, so you still want to get married? You still want to be married? And we joke, yep, let's get married all over again. I would do it again in a heartbeat. And so I think being open to communicating that and not being scared to address the elephant in the room is helpful. So when you think about that unwavering commitment, and the communication is everything key, addressing the elephant, maybe you don't ask maybe right now you are not asking your significant other, are you happy being married to me? Because you don't want to know the answer. So pay attention to that. I am an elephant poker. If there's an elephant in the room, I poke at it and I kind of beat it dead into a bloody pulp. That's part of my personality. And I don't like tension. And so that is what we've always kind of done in our marriage. And so far, knock on wood, it's been working. Okay. So those are 25 things that happen right now in the O'Day household and family. One thing we're really cognizant of also is that the kids are watching, and I do want to try my hardest to model good communication to them. If we are bickering or fighting, the kids know it, and so we always try and make sure that the kids know. Okay, so Dad and I were fighting last night. You heard yelling. We're totally fine now. It's all good. I don't want them to feel anxiety about our relationship. Okay, there you go. I hope that was helpful to you in some way. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm a real person, Steph@StephanieO'Day.com. If you want to talk about this, you should join the Slow Down Society Facebook group. You can find me on Facebook, and then in the group section, there is a Slow Cooker Connection, which I'm hardly in anymore. But then there is a Slow Down Society Facebook group, and that's where we talk about these podcast episodes and different personal growth aspects of life. Okay, consider yourself loved and hugged. I think you're amazing and wonderful, and I will talk to you again next week. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieoday.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.